One of the most hotly contested races for the governorship in Georgia, and it doesn't appear that it's going to come to an end anytime soon. Democrat Stacey Abrams trails Republican Brian Kemp by a slim margin of 68,000 votes. She's refusing to concede as she tries to make history. She would be the first African-American female elected to the governor's office.
Votes remain to be counted. There are voices that were waiting to be heard. Across our state, folks are opening up the dreams of voters in absentee ballots, and we believe our chance for a stronger Georgia is just within reach.
But we have a very strong lead. And folks, make no mistake, the math is on our side to win this election.
Under state law in Georgia, the leading candidate must receive more than 50% of the vote to avoid a runoff election. Kemp currently has 50.7% of the vote. With more on this, I want to bring back Zachary Peskowitz, assistant professor of political science at Emory University. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Great to see you.
All right. So absentee votes still have yet to be counted. Is it right? Is it the right thing for Stacey Abrams to do, to refuse to concede?
Yeah, I think at this point it makes sense. There's still quite a few absentee ballots that are outstanding, particularly in areas where she's expected to do quite well. So it is possible that Kemp will not be able to get to that 50% threshold. So
the major question now is also whether there'll be a runoff. For our viewers who may not understand what that means and the implications, can you explain it?
Yeah, so in the first round, there are three candidates running for the governorship of Georgia. If none of those candidates receive more than 50% of the vote, then it goes to a runoff between the top two candidates, which in this case would be Kemp and Abrams. The runoff would be held on December 4th. It would obviously receive an enormous amount of attention from across the United States, with a lot of campaign contributions, volunteers coming in from all across the U.S.
Oh, that would be huge. So it would be a whole other month of campaigning.
It'd be a whole other month of campaigning, very interesting for political scientists and political journalists.
The two are so close, yet so different, and it just speaks to the divide. Abrams ran a progressive campaign based on grassroots activism. Kemp is a longtime Trump loyalist. Just how polarized are people in the state of Georgia?
I think Georgia is fairly polarized. It does reflect a national trend of high polarization among citizens and among elected officials. Georgia is an interesting state in that it has a large rural population, but also rapidly growing metropolitan areas. And I think that was reflected in the election results today, being so closely divided.
And did the results show that urban-suburban divide? I'm thinking, Atlanta's huge. People there more inclined to vote for a Democrat?
Yes. I mean, what's definitely within urban cores, very strong performance for Abrams. The interesting thing is that she did particularly well in suburban areas that have historically been stronger among Republicans. So that's been an interesting thing to watch.
All right. Well, we will continue to watch this race. It's fascinating. Zachary Peskowitz with Emory University, thanks again.